Here we are. Here we are, Phil and James. We're here, what is it, day 8, I think. And Phil
We're
and
not
I were
counting weekends.
We're not counting weekends. I don't work weekends, and apparently Phil doesn't work on Friday, which I didn't work Friday either. But we did learn something on Friday, and I'm going to get into that because Phil and I were talking. I think it's important to go a little more in detail in the numbers. Now, one of the things, if you've been following this series and the ads, and if you haven't, I encourage you to go back and look at them, but you can always start here. One of the things I learned is that Phil does not work on Fridays. And the other thing I learned, and even more importantly, is do not increase your Facebook advertising spend on Fridays. Because as I told you before, what I learned, because that was the only thing I did on Friday, and then we hung out and went out to lunch and so forth, was over the weekend, my cost per lead went up. So I increased my ad spend, my cost per lead went up. It was okay because on Sunday we had a lot more activity and I was able to bring it down when I reviewed it. But today what I want to talk to you about is what I've been doing, because today's an exciting day. I'll get into that in a little bit. So here's where I'm at right now. As you know, I've been increasing my advertising and trying to work with that and really learning how that's going to impact the business. And I'm very excited and really trying to get this ramped up. I know Phil doesn't always recommend jumping right in like that and increasing spending, and you do what you want to do. I'm just trying to get this going quickly. I'm a little impatient, but I'm really trying, and I'm learning and getting the bumps along the way. So right now, my ad spend is up to almost about $800. It's actually around almost exactly around $770, and I'm looking at a lead cost of about $698. So still under the $7, which is good, and we've generated about 110 leads. Last time I told you a couple of days ago, I was able to close 2 credit repair deals at $100 each, and I got 3 more. So I'm at $500 with my credit repair leads, so I'm really excited about that. But I'm still in the hole because my ad spend's close to $800. But if you look at that, I've already made $500. I'm at $800, so it's only $300 in the hole. Had a lot of activity though. In fact, today I was able to submit 1 business loan application. Then that deal right now, the loan amount is $21,000, where I stand to make a 10% commission. So if that goes through, and I'm hoping it does, I will have a commission of $2,100. So if we add the $2,100, now again, if it goes through, $2,100 plus the $500 that I've made, that's $2,600 if I do that math correctly. So then my $2,600, which I'm hoping comes through, subtracted from my ad spend of $800, I stand to make, if it goes through, I'll be up $1,600. So for me, I'm excited about that because here I am. Let's call it a week. It's 8 days, but a week in business where I'm set up. I have the systems in place. I already have everything going. I've been working, if you could say that. Friday we didn't work, and the weekend I didn't work. But I'm excited because if this deal goes through, and again, I'm really hoping and praying it does, that'll be up $1,600. So I'm really excited and really pleased and in the simplicity of how everything is. So that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Yeah, and I will tell everyone when it comes to Friday, definitely don't up your ad spend on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Mm-hmm. You definitely don't want to do that. I would stick to Monday, Tuesday, really just Monday, Tuesday, but Wednesday maybe. Also, which we'll go into, I would kind of see where James is at in terms of what he feels comfortable with and what he doesn't feel comfortable with and stuff. But the other thing is, crap, I actually forgot what I was going to say. So let's just skip to you. So okay. What's the number one thing that you feel that you're good at when it comes to this business?
For me, since I did own a business before, one of my strong suits and what I feel comfortable with is talking to people. Once I understand what it is that I need to talk to them about, it's very easy for me to talk to people. I enjoy it, so that's been something that is easy when I'm on the phone. I'm able to get, even when I reached out to our funding companies, I was able just to text, to email them, and then I picked up the phone. I did call a couple of them and told them what is it that they need, what's their commission structure. That for me was easy to talk to people about. So speaking to people and communicating by email is very, very easy for me.
And actually, I just remembered. So what I was going to say before was on the weekends are actually a great time to call leads. Okay. Now, of course, everyone's different. They can all run their business the way they want. But Saturdays, Sundays are really good. And the Sunday is your best lead cost day, typically. I'm not saying every single Sunday is always going to be great. I'm just saying on average, Sunday should have a better lead cost. That's also a great time to talk to leads. Whether you text them all, do a mass text message, email, try to get them to call you back on a weekend is actually a good time, or just pick up the phone and call them. So that's really good, just to throw it out there. What's your worst thing? What's the hardest thing that you've done so far since you started this?
Well, the thing, I think we talked about it early on in one of the other videos we've done. For me, I would say, although I'm pretty decent with technology, learning the Facebook ads has not come as easy to me, but it's only because I have never done it. But following your process was really easier this time around. As I mentioned, I made that mistake increasing my ad spend on Friday, and then I was able to review how to bring down my cost per lead. So I spent a lot of times, and just so if you guys aren't at this point yet, you'll get there. And for me, the Facebook part is a little difficult for me. I've never done it before, but once I understood how to do it, essentially what I've been doing to be able to drive my lead costs down, for example, what I did yesterday and today, I review my ad spend. I don't even know how many ads I have going right now, but basically you review your ads on each one, and you review the cost that you're getting per lead and what you're spending. So I have ads that are out at $10 an ad, and I'll look at the cost per lead. And if it's anything over $9, I start looking at that. And what I do, based on what Phil told me to do, is I drop down that lead cost, that ad cost, down to $1. I leave that at $1. I just literally go by each one that's underperforming, or in this case, going over to the $9 per lead cost, and then I bring down that ad spend to $1. Conversely, I look at the other ads that are doing well, and if those ads are doing anyone under that amount, under $9, and hopefully they're a lot less, I increase that ad spend just by $5, just a few dollars, and then I review that. And what we do, the reason why we don't just turn that ad off completely, as I saw in one of the situations today, is because sometimes that ad, once you turn it down to $1, it starts generating leads, and your lead cost is better then. So had I turned that off, I would have never known that. So I put it down to $1. The performance starts increasing. The lead cost is still very good. So now I can ramp that one up as well. Now, I've just learned all this in a week. I've never known how to do this, and I think I also talked to you before about when I had to upload the lookalike audiences. There were some quirks and some things about that. There are some certain quirks I've gone into, increasing the dollar spend and understanding where to click the pencil to edit the ad spend. But it's all there. You don't really make mistakes. It's just learning about how it is. So for me, learning how to do it and what to do, like what I just talked to you about now, I'm very proud of myself because it did take a lot for me to learn that. But it's a simple step-by-step process, and it's just doing it. And I think that's really the most important thing, is really just applying yourself and just doing. Don't give up. Just say, okay, well, what's going on here? Here's what it is. What do I have to do? Let me down that cost to $1. Let me bring this one up because it's doing well. So for me, that's been the only area that's been, let's just call it somewhat of a challenge for me, only because I've never done it, but I've been following your system to make sure I'm doing it the right way, and it's been working. And that's really all I have to say about that.
So let me just repeat what he said, because I'm sure a lot of you are so confused because you've never done this before and you don't know what he's talking about. So let me just break it down like this. Let's just pretend you have 50 ads running at $10 a piece. You have sort of a $500 daily spend. Let's just pretend. So there's 50 ads you're going to run. Let's pretend you put them all up today. And once they spend between $20 and $30, so in 3 days from now, if they never got a lead, and by the time they spend $20 or $30, turn them down to $1. The ones that actually got leads, and maybe there's an ad that has a $3 cost per lead and a $5 cost per lead, a $7 cost per lead, you can pretty much do under $9. So anything under $9 cost per lead, you bump them all about $5. So you go from 10 to 15. So then in a few days, you take all the ones at 15 If they're still doing well, you go to 20, right? You keep doing that. But only really do that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the week. Don't do it going into the weekend. Then you turn the bad ones down to $1. And then what he saw, all of a sudden he had a couple at the top, $3 cost bleed, $5 cost bleed, whatever, at $1. Like, all right, let me turn that one back up to 5. Mm-hmm. And then from 5 to 10 to 15, 20, and you keep going up. You also want to max out. I have a guy who runs some Facebook ads for me. He maxed out at $90 per ad per day. Another guy maxed out like $50. On my accounts, I actually maxed out at $40. I used to max out like $150, even higher. But what happened was, one was if that ad starts doing bad, all of a sudden it's like, well, what do? I keep it running. It's hard to replace that ad spend depending on how many ads you're running. So everyone needs to come up with their own strategy. It really just depends on how you want to do it. And obviously what your overall ad spend is. If you only want to spend $50 a day, then clearly this conversation is going to be completely different. If you want to spend $10,000 a day, then again, it's going to be completely different that way. So other than that, anything else? Anything else? Are you good?
No, I think that's
good. Where he's at is, he almost spent $800. He's still at loss. He's still at a loss at almost $300. If this deal goes through, he's at a profit of $1,600. So you can once that works out, and there's other people now he's talking to, and there's other potential deals, right? So if this one falls true, he's going to get one. Mm-hmm. The key is, out of the 100 plus leads that he got, you only need to close one out of those 100 for a business loan. And there are different types of business loans. You have the leads with high credit score. You have leads that do over $5,000 to $10,000 a month in revenue. That's going to be one lender. Then you have leads that are $10,000 or more per month in revenue. That's another lender. So you have basically 3 types of lenders that you can get loans for. Then you have credit repair. So out of just that, you should get between 5 and 10 credit repair leads. He's on a lower end. He only did 5 at the first 100, but I think he'll get better over time. 5 to 10. And then what happens is 1 out of 100 minimal on the business loan side. And then also, as you collect these leads, you also want to market them over time. So maybe put them into like a trickle campaign for email. Maybe text them once a week. You can automate this stuff, but that's down the road. He's not doing any of that. So down the road, you can have your leads come in, dump them automatically into, let's just say, an Aweber, a MailChimp, a Constant Contact, whoever you want. Dump in there, and automatically they'll be getting leads. You can want to do it daily. You want to do it once a week. That's up to you. You email them out. Then with the text messaging, I wouldn't text people every day. Text them maybe once a week. But again, you can automate that or just do it manually using a service like a Callfire. I don't know if Twilio actually does it, but there's a bunch of text messaging services out there. And we could just do a blast. So you do that. And then, so now all the leads come in. Some people looking for a loan have sticker shock when they first hear how much interest is involved in these loans. They're high interest. It's because no one else is giving a loan, not going to Chase or Capital One and getting a 4% or 8% loan. It's just not happening. So they have 0 options. This is it. So what happens is people, I talked to a sales guy at a lender, I won't say who. I talked to a sales guy at a lender a couple of weeks ago. And this guy told me a great story. I never told you this. He told me a great story. He's like, this is what I do. He goes, a lead comes in. He goes, I have 4 separate companies, 4 separate emails, 4 separate everything. Lead comes in, I talk to him, I give him the deal. Now I know the deal I gave him. Then I hit him 3 other times with 3 separate people, right? So he gets 3 separate people, and he gives them worse offers. So now his original offer looks great, right? And then the guy comes back to me and goes, wow, you got the best deal that I got so far. I'm like, that really works? That's pretty good. So the funny thing about this industry, this alternative financing, is there's 0 regulations. Mm-hmm. It's business to business. The government really doesn't care about businesses, I got to tell you. They care about consumers, right? So consumer, they have the interest rate laws and loan sharking, whatever. Yeah. So they care about consumers. They really don't care about businesses. So these guys do whatever they do to get these deals done. But that's what happens. Like someone gets a sticker shock, and then in 30 days from now, they're like, wow, like this is how it is. Yeah. I can't go anywhere. This is my best deal, or I have to take this type of deal. And you actually have a pretty solid conversion rate once you make that offer. You just got to stay on top of it. But it's just sales 101, right? I mean, they're not doing anything crazy here. So So that's pretty much it. I know there is more stuff I want to bring up, but whatever. We'll just do it in a different video if I remember. I should write notes down. Yeah. I can't remember anything. So that's it. So you see James, we'll maybe do a video tomorrow and see where he's at. I highly doubt that deal is going to close in 24 hours from now. It's probably going to close in maybe 2 to 3 days from now because it just started. But yeah, we'll take it from there and we'll see if anything else he gets in the hopper. And that's it. And hopefully he spends more money and makes more money. That's it, right? So, all right, that's it.
All right.
We'll call it day 8, and we'll go to day 9.